Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much for joining me here. Hope you're having a great day. We're taking a look here at Chainlink, seeing what's going on. We're going to have to redraw out some fib levels here from my analysis from last week and just kind of see where we're at. We can see we have this nice little bullish backtest of this descending trend line. It's a really common occurrence. It happened initially when the price broke out and also now as well. Just kind of letting us know the overall trend is still in decent shape. By no means is this a bullish sign, but it's just a good confirming factor letting us know that we haven't broken lower than our previous low, one of our previous lows rather. So again, this mostly good stuff in the overall sense. Now we're going to just take a quick look here at the current fib levels. We're going to pull up some liquidation levels too and kind of see where we're at there and kind of get perspective on what's going on. Because again, when it comes to coins like this, we don't just jump blindly in because we had a couple of good days. We need to make sure we understand and evaluate kind of what's where we're at now. So let's take a quick look at the back end liquidation levels to start. While this is loading, I just want to ask you hit the like button, comment below if you get a chance. Deeply appreciate that. Absolutely very helpful. We've actually seen a little bit larger viewers here or more views on my videos recently, so it's a good sign. It shows it's working. So keep hitting that like button. Really appreciate it. If you want to join our Creating Academy community or Signals group, links down below for that. Okay, so when we come to liquidation, 7 days here on the left-hand side and 1 month on the right, we can see there's a lot of people shorting that it's probably soon to get destroyed here. Again, keep in mind, liquidation levels imply there's resistance in that range because most people will put their stop loss above resistances, okay? So right here, we can kind of recognize 1130 to 1160, round numbers there. Quite a lot of liquidation. These are pretty heavy shorts here recently, just above the most recent high at 1130. So keep that in mind. That's generally why you see liquidation sweeps or the price just jump right above a support and come back down. It's doing exactly what we see here and destroying those high leverage shorts basically, because those are likely high leverage because they're so close to that resistance. Anyways, that's kind of where that's at. We got some low leverage shorts in the 1240 to 1250 range. Probably not a concern for the moment, but generally speaking, I wouldn't be shorting this coin at this exact time, even though Bitcoin is looking like it wants to recover and it broke through its little tentative resistance. There's a lot of reasons why it's maybe premature to consider it a long right now. We're just going to actually look at everything to make sure. So please understand that I look at things kind of abstractly. I don't necessarily jump into charts and with a preconceived notion. You shouldn't either, because again, that's just a bad way to trade. The best way to trade is to trade completely ambivalent and just make sure that you are looking at everything and not attaching any emotional bias to anything. So take a look here at the daily time frame. We're below the 20, 100, 200 SMA, only above the 50 for the moment. So closing above the 50 would be a good start, right? Closing at just say $11 or higher, that would help us reaffirm being moderately back on track. But until we're over the 20, I don't personally have a strong inclination to want to take a long or a short with this coin, or sorry, more so a long. I don't necessarily recommend a short either because we're above a key level support at 1060. So if you're going to short, I would say shorting to that level may be appropriate. I don't think that's a great call right now, but we have a lot of control there. So 1060, that's basically this little support shelf down here. There's a lot of reasons why the price shouldn't go too much lower here. If it does, that's a common pivot point based on Fibonacci retracement. We can see, of course, we're under 50 in the RSI. Bitcoin exuding the same behavior here too, kind of trying to break above, but so far hasn't closed above. So again, I like to kind of give you that correlation just so you kind of understand that most coins are going to respond to Bitcoin. In fact, if you don't know what Bitcoin's doing and you're trading altcoins, you're doing it very, very wrong. Watch my daily Bitcoin analysis so you can get perspective on things because it's kind of a baseline of what everything else is going to be doing. Look at this, 2% from Bitcoin today, 10 to 15% on most altcoins. Why? Because they got punished when Bitcoin pulled back, but Bitcoin is the catalyst, okay? So all that being said, what's going to happen next? Well, stochastic is trying to swing up here, but MACD is diverging but plateauing. So we got some good signs here that the bottom is tentatively in. We saw that the same thing with Bitcoin too. 60,000 held like a champion. So at this point, I think it's recommended to consider being very careful with your trades because we're in this transition where we don't truly know that we're not going to go any lower. But once again, the likelihood of going lower is less likely, at least for Bitcoin sub 60,000. And that's a good thing. Between now and then, we can totally see a lot of variance, and it will probably pull back to an extent. Having said that, though, looking at the 4-hour time frame, we want to see here that we're above the 200 SMA for the moment, above the 20. Being above the 20 is kind of that initial trend setter, letting us know that we've probably broken free from a descending trend line, which is what we can see here, running concurrent as per usual. So again, if you are not familiar with the 20-day SMA, it's a good little friend to have on the 4-hour time frames, more specifically, even on the daily too, to give you kind of perspective on where you're at in the momentous or the momentum of the trend. This descending trend line is tentatively discontinued, and essentially being above the 20 reflects that. Okay, so it's a good sign. It really means that we're kind of getting closer to a potential breakout. What I mean by that is that we have this little resistance here, this local high, that is obviously working so far as a potential resistance. So we're just going to keep that on the chart for the moment and recognize that 1125, safe round number there, is essentially a resistance for us. So until we close above that level, a long position doesn't make a ton of sense. Okay, and why is that? Because we're trading into a resistance, and get it going long into a key level resistance makes less sense than breaking that resistance, testing it as support, and then going long. I know, it seems crazy, right? You're going to get into a long position at a higher price point with less profit margin. That doesn't make sense logically, but it absolutely makes sense financially because you are confirming that the trend is essentially moving in the direction you want to trade in. Okay. Having said that, we're MACD's converging. We're at 50 on the RSI here on the 4-hour, still letting us know we're not above that resistance level. Okay. So truth is, until we get at 1125 or higher, I do not think you should consider a long position with this coin. 4-hour time frame tells us kind of, we're in a transition. The hourly time frame here, what does this tell us? Well, it tells us we're breaking free from this descending trend, which we've kind of already acknowledged. Our lagging span's free and clear. We're not quite free of the cloud, but the baseline and the conversion line's above it, essentially. So this is 2.5. You could pretty much round up and say 3 out of 3 reasons why Chainlink is likely to stay in this range. While it could potentially pull back a little bit to its local point of control at $11 and pivot, there's a stronger chance the price goes up from here moving forward. Okay, so even though the macro doesn't look phenomenal, the 4-hour looks okay, the hourly looks great. Most altcoins are exuding the same behavior. And a lot of that hinges on Bitcoin having broken free from its range. So pending Bitcoin stays at 62K or higher, I think majority of altcoins minus a couple of outliers, which I've already covered today, SUI being one of those, I'm expecting the price to pull back for SUI. We're looking at a stronger likelihood of coins like this bouncing and continuing higher. So if Bitcoin pulls back to 61.8, bounce off at key level support, this may be a good consideration for an entry. I'm going to go ahead and add an alert just in case the price pulls back to its point of control around $11. That would be a very logical consideration for a long position. Again, this is just me in the way that I like to trade. I don't like to jump in or FOMO in at the top, especially when you're testing a key level resistance. If that breaks, I might consider a re-entry or an entry at 11.25 if we retest that. So for example, the price goes like this. This is when I might want to consider getting in. Or if the price pulls back here, this seems logical too. Again, the premise being that Bitcoin should be able to maintain its range, and if it does here today, I think these kind of executions would seem appropriate. All right, that's kind of where we're at there. I hope that makes sense and I described that correctly. Join us too over at Bitunix too, folks. Link down below. It's an exclusive campaign this month here for our members. If you use my link to register, you're good to go. But the link's down below, of course. Check that out. There's a really awesome deposit bonus for right now going for our community. Cool. If you have questions, concerns, feel free to reach out. Don't be a stranger. CryptoCash.tech is a site where you can register, become a better trader. We'll see you on the next one. Hope you have a great rest of your day. Thank you.